Since I talked about Matilda in a review a few months ago, another kids movie that came out in 1986 and has gotten a cult following over the years. For the video, I'm going to do Space Jam. Yep, it turned 25 this year, which I am glad that this movie came out after I was born, because my brother was into basketball, and this one was no exception, where the movie collided Michael Jordan from Chicago Bulls with the Looney Tunes, and yes, this was my first introduction to Looney Tunes. So, in honor of its 25th anniversary, just like Matilda, I'm going to do a review of Space Jam. So let's begin. In the beginning, Michael Jordan announces his retirement from basketball to pursue a different career. Meanwhile, in outer space, Swackhammer, who runs in Moron Mountain, calls the Nerdlucks to abduct the Looney Tunes. While they decide to take away the talents of NBA players to play basketball with the Looney Tunes, Michael Jordan is taken into the Looney Tunes universe where he meets them. So now the Monstars and the Toon Squad basketball game has begun. So yeah, this movie is kind of all over the place, which I'm fine with movies that are story driven, but when it's plot too much, that is frustrating for me. Aside from the story and some of the criticisms I'll talk about, the movie itself is like a big marketing movie. Before the movie greenlighted, there was commercials with Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny. After those, Warner Brothers made a movie collaborating the two. The critics back then didn't find the movie interesting, and it made a pretty good amount of money at the box office, making it the #1 highest grossing basketball movie now. Heck, even the sequel still hasn't even reached at 90 million. And while I'm not a big sports fan, it's cool to see what's going on in terms of choreography and even the speed of the animation. Also, the idea sounds awesome. Both Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny working to battle the aliens from a basketball game. It does sound silly at first, but then again, the writers had to do it. Let's move on to the characters. The characters are hit and miss. The Looney Tunes can be funny sometimes, but some of the lines just aren't funny. Plus, they introduce a new character, Lola Bunny. For her first debut, she's fine. She had little personality, but her lines? Seems like the writer gave her random lines. While Lola has appeared in the later Looney Tunes stuff after, she got better in the Looney Tunes show that came out on Cartoon Network 10 years ago. Her personality is better, and she's more funny than what she was. Also, Christian Rigg from Bridesmaids did the voice of the character. Also, I'm so glad they changed her later on. As far as her character in the sequel, well, I still need to watch the movie. Now to Michael Jordan. He's fine, pretty average. So yeah, for a main character about him, just not much. I like the NBA players like Barkley, Ewing, Bradley, Johnson, and Bogies making their own appearances in the movie because the aliens took their talent. Also, Larry Bird's in the movie as himself, which okay to add him because he was a Celtics player back in the 80s and 90s. Aside from the NBA players, there's Wayne Knight as Stan, assistant to Jordan, which if you know Wayne Knight, he's Newman on Seinfeld, and Dennis Nedry from Jurassic Park. And then Bill Murray playing as Bill Murray. Yeah, they could have picked a better name and not as himself. However, this was my first introduction to him. Yeah, who would have thought when I was really young? I have to admit, the line where he doesn't name the Looney Tunes is kind of funny. Now moving on to the aliens. The aliens that transform into Monstars, which the transformation scene did look cool as a kid, but they are for what they are. They're generic. Danny DeVito voices Swackhammer, the bosses for the aliens, which not bad for the voice. And this line right here is pretty funny.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I didn't know Dan Aykroyd was in this picture!
Get it? Because him and Dan Aykroyd worked together before? Also, there are some breaking the fourth wall in the movie, which I do admire them, particularly this line.
Producer's a friend of mine, just had a teamster come and drop me off,
Yeah, if you realize he's mentioning Ivan Reitman, who produced this movie. Both of them worked together in Ghostbusters. Nice reference there. So yeah, that is it for the characters. Now the humor. It's once again hit and miss. When they have references, they're funny, but when it's jokes like slapstick, it's not funny. Heck, I don't know if anyone likes the scene where Stan inflates like a balloon, but I've seen some people find it funny. Even as a kid, it was, but as an adult, I just find it kind of awkward. So yeah, the humor and the characters are hit and miss on both the elements. However, the animation of the movie are still pretty good. I mean, the decade they were using computer generated, still, it had nice 2D animation in the movie. Also, it was cool for a hybrid movie where it combines animation with live action, where it's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, though that movie is far superior than that. Any criticisms in the movie? Sometimes it's stupid and awkward and too much going on, it doesn't make any sense. But there are some good stuff I can't help, even I watched it when I was little. Which, yes, this movie is one of my guilty pleasure movies. That's right, even when I got older, it's definitely in my guilty pleasure movies list. I know, a couple weeks ago I did a video on Hocus Pocus where the movie was a guilty pleasure movie by some and why the movie is not on my list. Well, because there are some elements I like more than Space Jam or any guilty pleasure movies. So yeah, I had to get that out of the way before anyone comments first. So yeah, Space Jam is definitely a product of its time movie when it came out back then when I was little. While it has problems, I can't help but to like it. Also, I am planning to watch its sequel, Space Jam: A New Legacy, next year when I get HBO Max. So yeah, I got 1 out of 4 movies in my guilty pleasure movies to go, which means I have more to go until the reveal what my other 3 guilty pleasure movies are. That is all for the review of Space Jam. Happy 25th anniversary to the movie, and I'll see you guys for another anniversary video next week. Then the next movie will be better than Space Jam. See you guys next week.